Hey everyone, how's it going? Just gonna do some fine tuning before we start. So I thought I would talk a little bit today about about some things that actually came up this week while I was teaching. I have some students that are switching from steel string instruments over to nylon instruments like this, nylon string instruments. So I figured, that'd be a good discussion, kind of a good topic for today. So, tuning is the best thing to do, the easiest way to sound better. Just tune the instrument. Great. So cool. I'm just going to warm up a little bit and just play. And we're going to get into it. And talk a little bit about playing the nylon string guitar, or the classical guitar. Now this, however, is a hybrid instrument, which means it's got a cutaway, it's super thin, so it's a little bit different from your classical guitar. A little bit different from the traditional classical. Just opening up the stream there. So I'm going to play a piece by Fernando Sor that I've just been looking at. I just kind of opened it up. This is a good study for people getting into classical guitar. Right? This is a really great little piece in B minor, right? So maybe we can talk a bit about this and what's going on. So as you can see here, the first chord is just your typical B minor. You're getting this little built-in arpeggio melody, right? So what we're doing here, or what Fernando Sor was doing, Fernando Sor, by the way, was a Spanish guitarist and composer. in the 19th century, I believe, and he was kind of like one of the first people to really write extensively for the instrument. So if you're interested in kind of going back and digging deep, check out Fernando Sor, because he wrote what we consider the classical guitar canon. That being said, there's probably been tons of work lost, right? If you think about the amount of literature that survives history, maybe 1%, the same rule applies to musical works, right? So you can't assume that he was one of the only ones doing it. There were probably many people writing for the guitar and playing the guitar, but his work survived and endures to this day. And people really use it to develop their technique and explore the guitar. It's great for students of the classical guitar. Right, so we're just moving around this B minor, kind of doing these little cadences. There. I'm just going to scroll. And you hear me bring out that melody. Da, 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 da. And there's the melody. Da, 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 da. It's a really beautiful melody. So just like this chord. But I'm just improvising on the end of Fernando Sor's Study in B minor, Opus 35, number 22. And I'll play it. I'll just keep playing it and kind of talking as I play it, I guess. So I'm thinking, play near the sound hole for a warm tone. Really keep my movements relaxed, crescendo. My right hand is moving as little as possible to articulate the notes. That A section again, and I'll sing what I consider to be the melody. And you're going to hear the difference between the melody and the accompaniment. Softer, this middle section here, so wish my computer wasn't so loud. Again, I'm singing the melody. This is a really interesting chord to end on. B, open D, B. It's just a minor third, but it's got an interesting sonority to it. And I hear people like folk folk composers like Dan Mangan, I've heard use something like this. He uses this chord. So that's just an octave, an octave of G with a third in between. So it's really like pleasant sound. I don't know why, but he does this. So Fernando Sor is using the same voicing strategy 100 years, 120 years before. Maybe more. And you're going to see some good voicings here you can take with you, right? Like this. It's a good dominant chord. What would you call that? It's a drop 3. Now we're not doing a harmony lesson, but this is a good voicing style. There's another dominant chord, so you can take these things. This is one of my favorites in the piece. So I'll show you how these all happen. So we'll take it from bar 17. Actually, you know what? How about I show you the score? How about I'll show you the score here? Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, folks. Don't go anywhere. There it is. So we're at bar 17 there. Now I'll just play it. Dominant chord, and my favorite. Oh man, how can someone take just simple chord shapes and make them sound so dynamic and beautiful, right? This is the beauty of classical guitar. It's like, you're maybe used to playing more traditional like steel string or American style instruments, you're not used to hearing this kind of like movement within a chord. Like, for example, let's take a C major. Right? Guitar is heating up. So is my computer apparently. Great, so C major. You can play it like this. This piece. I've seen this somewhere. I don't know if that's a real thing. It sounds like just like a C major waltz, like a really simple one. I think that's in one of the RCM books. Don't remember the whole thing, but you can see just like the difference between like strumming a chord this kind of motion. So right away, like I'm not even trying, and I've introduced this melody, like melodies on top. that's a good alternative to, say, this. It's just got more contrapuntal movement, right? Within the chord, you've got... and then... right, all happening. So let's take a look at this soar piece again. And we'll just look at the intro here. And maybe we'll talk about what chords are being played. So, it's all B. All B minor for the first two measures. F sharp 7, right? We have F sharp, C sharp, and E. And you know, we're not playing that A sharp, but we play it later, so it's implied. That would be the third in F sharp 7, right? So it would be like a 5 dominant, right? 5, 1. So it's just 1. Melody up high, down, 5, 5, 1, 5, 5, 1, 5, da, da. So what's happening there? Sounds like G7 to me. What do you guys think? It could be E minor. Yeah, I'm thinking it's like a G7. But he's written it E sharp instead of F, so that's interesting. Da, da, da. So this may give it away here. We're back to G. This is just a G triad, so chances are it is a G7 there. And then we go da, da. That's an E minor 6. Right, the C sharp, that would be the natural 6, E, back to F sharp 7 or F sharp major, and then, so I count 4 chords in the intro. B minor, G7, F sharp 7, E minor 6. Now you could say, oh, there's a G, it's just major, but think of them all as kind of like group them together, right? The G's, they can all be G7. The F's, they can all be F. It could just be, you could think of that E sharp as a passing tone too. That's measure 7. And then it's just G major. So I'll just play around kind of the general motion, right? You have your B minor. F sharp 7, B minor. That's the majority of this, right? Right, and it seems really simple. You're probably like, I know those chords. I can play that no problem. But the way he's done it is very elegant, right? These arpeggios. definitely got that mute there in bar 29. Again, that's just my favorite passage of the whole thing. I'll take it there for you one more time. I can't help but think Soar probably would have improvised on this. You know. Challenge, right? Take a classical piece and try to solo on it. There are no chord symbols, so you really do need to know the harmony. Stretching a bit there. I'll take it from 17 and try just continuing to improvise. That last section is a bit more challenging for me, so I'm going to play through it and then try another passive improvisation there. So I'm playing Fernando Soar's Study in B minor. So this was actually the first piece Segovia, or Julian Bream rather, played in public at the age of 10. A British Guitar Society meeting, and he described the other participants as nervous and shaking, and none of the adult guitarists could get a note out or play a piece without making a mistake. And then he got up at only 10 years old and kind of shocked everyone playing this. And it's, you know, considered like an intermediate piece. Kind of tricky in its own way. to be taken lightly. Like, you have to really put the work in to get those certain things sounding really good, like the mute at 28. You're coming out of this. Or what is it? It's, yeah, C sharp. So I kind of slap my thumb down to mute those low strings there. I'm just improvising. Cool. Yeah, I thought I'd talk about that. So here, I'll show you guys what I'm playing. If there's anyone out there who wants to play it. Study in B minor by Fernando Sor. And you can get this for free online on a site called IMSLP. I think that stands for something Petrucci Music Library, and it's essentially an open source, not open source, but it's like a free open database for scores. So I'm always looking on there for new pieces to play. And I saw this one, again, I said this is Julian Bream's, this was his debut performance, Julian Bream. And Julian Bream was an English classical guitarist who passed away, I think last year or the year before, very recently. And he had a huge hand in modernizing the instrument by commissioning works from the likes of William Walton and I think Hans Werner. Wrote a bunch of pieces for him. These are just composers who were working at the time. He tried to get Stravinsky to write for the guitar, and I don't think that went over well. Maybe he was just too busy, not interested, but there's a hilarious clip on YouTube of Julian Bream kind of cornering Igor Stravinsky at a rehearsal and asking him if he'd like to hear him play lute. Would you like to hear me play lute? Would you like to see my lute? Which I just think is adorable. Like, Julian Bream was one of those people who was just super stoked on the instrument and the music. And I mean, my favorite Bream quote is, well, there are a few good ones. One of them is, all that matters is passion and a desire to communicate when playing. Passion and a desire to communicate. One mustn't try to be absolutely perfect, but just have passion and a desire to communicate. That really resonated with me. And then he also talked a little bit about the poetry of plucked instruments, as he calls it. And for him, the poetry of a plucked instrument is that each note has its maximum amount of energy on the attack and then slowly fades into nothing. And he says that each note is like a little life. Each note is a little life, which I think is really beautiful. So, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about this technique today. It's kind of a cool technique. So, let me show it to you. What we do is pick, hammer on, pick up, hammer, pull off. So it's kind of like pick down, hammer on, pick up, hammer on, pick down, pull off, pick up, pull off. So you get each direction picking, hammering on and pulling off. And this really works well on one string, but when you switch strings you have to re-articulate. So let's try just on one string, right? I'm just going up like an A minor scale. Or A Ionian. It's a really cool technique, and it's going to really develop your time when you're doing hammer-ons and pull-offs. Now I'm just doing up picks there, but yeah, like try it. Give it a try. You might like it. Check it out. Here's a metronome. I can't hear it for some reason. Where's the metronome? There it is. So try doing 16th notes like at this tempo. You might want to pick a scale, right? C major. Kind of fall off it when you switch strings, but that's just a good one on one string, right? Down, hammer on, up, hammer on, down, pull off, up, pull off. Gets pretty difficult. I'm just playing C major on the top string, right? So we'll hold a C chord now. Right, you can do this with any scale. kind of getting tricky there. So yeah, all we're doing is we're taking this kind of interesting, stop, metronome. We're taking a hammer-on pull-off sequence, and we're just sliding it around on one string. So check it out. Let's do E minor now. Let's get an E minor chord here. Yeah, so this is good at developing time with your hammer-ons and pull-offs. So do we have any guitar-related questions in the chat? Anything at all? So let's talk about let's talk about some more exercises you can try in the electric. Here's a really good one I like. Say you're in C major. Say you're in C major. Nice and simple, right? 8th fret. Let's see if we can play all the chords like that, all of our 4-note chords in C major. So starting with C major 7. 1, 3, 5, 7, or C, E, G, B, G, E, C. Again, C, E, G, B, G, E, C, right? Now let's just move it through the scale. Right? So those are all of our 4-note chords, right? So we get major 7, minor 7, another one, another major 7, a dominant, minor, diminished 7th, major 7. Can't get this guitar in tune tonight, guys. So yeah, this is a really great exercise, and what I like to do with it is go up one chord and then down the other. Right, so here's the full exercise, maybe at speed, like. So I encourage you to kind of go through these exercises on your own, right? Like we just skip every other degree to make these these chords. These are tertian chords, meaning we stack thirds. Right? C, skip a note, E, skip a note, G, skip a note, B. Right, and then down to D. There's E. Down to F, now G7. Down to A minor 7. B diminished 7. Add in the hammer-ons and you can start to build speed on it.